Welcome to Around the Edges Season 3. Now, you might be excused for thinking that we're in some northern climate like Wisconsin or Illinois or Michigan or somewhere we've been before. But no, that's not the case. This kind of frosty vista that we see is actually southern Louisiana. So, I have a knack, I think, for just kind of going at the wrong time. And I got here right in the middle of the worst winter storm they've had in years. So, let's see what we can find around the edges. The massive winter storm that swept across the southern U.S. on January 21st, 2025, presented some interesting challenges to this leg of the trip. Having been brought up in the snowbelt region of northern Ohio, I'm used to driving in snow. This is something that I've experienced many times in the past. However, the same cannot be said for Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. These communities simply don't have the resources to clear mass amounts of snow from the road. They don't have snow plows, salt trucks, the things that we take for granted up here up north, where we get snow every year. And therefore, it became very obvious as I arrived in Slidell the night of the 21st that I was more than likely going to be stuck here for at least another day. In addition to the equipment problems that, of course, they're having in clearing the snow, there's also the matter of people not being accustomed to driving in it. People were slipping and sliding all over the place. You try driving too fast on ice, well, you're going to slip and slide around. And even for me, who is used to driving in snow, there was a lot of slipping and sliding going on, especially on the day after the big storm. That's where we actually had snow melting on the top of the ice on the road and made things very, very slippery indeed. It was certainly the prudent decision to wait an extra 24 hours before continuing on this trip. When I finally did continue on my way the morning of January 23rd, you could see many cars that had run off the road, hit trees, hit fences, hit each other. And it's a good thing that I wasn't out on the 22nd all that long. My curiosity did get the better of me, and as you can see in the footage here, I actually did get out on that day just kind of to see what kind of condition the roads were in. I was hoping to get a sense of would the roads be passable even 24 hours later. And as I could see it, it was melting pretty quickly. When I first arrived in Slidell, there was at least 4 or 5 inches of snow on the road. By the time I got up the next morning, well, it had hardened into ice, but I also noticed that during the course of the day, things were melting very quickly. It wasn't particularly warm, however, we had good, strong sun for that 48-hour period, and that meant that things were melting, evaporating as quickly as you could possibly hope. So I was pretty confident that I was going to be able to leave on the morning of the 23rd. The problem, of course, became how to get supplies and how to get food. All of the stores were closed. The only place open near where my hotel was the Waffle House, and that was not even open as much as they would have been. People getting in and out, well, that was a little bit of a problem. So, of course, it made for a little bit of adventure, maybe a little bit more adventure than I had hoped for. Trip planning was also affected by the storm, actually in quite a big way. There were places where I was planning on going, and one of the biggest of those was the Dauphin Island Ferry that crosses Mobile Bay in Alabama. I really, really wanted to make that crossing. Did I make that crossing? Well, you'll find out in a future episode. But certainly at this point of the trip, it was looking very much like this crossing was not going to happen. is obviously a huge improvement from yesterday, which you saw just a minute ago. It's amazing what a little hot sun will do. Even though it hasn't been that warm, we've had a lot of melting out here. And welcome to Mississippi again. See if conditions have improved enough to take the ferry today. I'm hoping they have, but we won't know till about noon whether or not the ferry is running today or not. So I guess we'll find out in a couple hours. This is the same spot that we were yesterday, and I showed footage of earlier in the episode. There's still patches of ice, but boy, this is way better than it was yesterday. So I'm hoping for some smooth sailing now into the Florida. Make it through Mississippi and Alabama first.